Welcome to the trivia episode of the Wodesman podcast. Today's episode is a charity event. There are two separate Just Giving pages for the prize pool for this episode, and it would be greatly appreciated if you, the listeners, could contribute to that. There is a separate prize pool for the winner's choice and a separate prize pool for the bearded fisherman, the Wodesman charity. So please take a look in the show notes and donate if you can to help make some people's Christmas that little bit easier. Welcome to the Wodesman Trivia. The Wodesman Trivia. Welcome. I'm one of your hosts, Primal Nomad, Liam. I'm really excited for this episode, and I'm here
with Tom from Back Garden Bushcraft, and I am very excited to be here on the Wodesman special episode,
The Wodesman Trivia. And today we have some of our finest guests from throughout the year. And in fact, you could say some of the finest guests in general. And to start it off, the first one to come is Steve, the state detective, keeping our lads fed.
Nice say, old chaps.
And then we have a Mr. David Friars, the modular man.
Hello.
And then we're going off to Field and Steel, the knife beater.
Oi!
And followed sharply by him, it's Josh from Feared Woods.
Right, my lovers.
I don't
And
think
of
I'm
course,
drunk enough for this.
To top it off, across the seas, it's a Mr. Joe Price from Living to Learn.
I'm trying not to get cancelled today.
But there's one more, and he's from the north, and he's always a good laugh. It's a Mr. TJ Into the Wild, Tim.
I want to eat some hard liquor.
8, 7, 6.
I love the whole Bruce's Price is Right feel we got going on. That's fucking fantastic.
Okay, so our first question of the Wodesman Trivia special episode comes in from Jamie, Living Wild, UK.
And the way you guys are going to have to answer this is if you guys have a pad and a pen, you can always add in your questions to that and hold it up so we can see it. Hopefully it won't be reversed on the camera. If it is, we'll work around it. And if that doesn't work, there is a little button in the bottom right that you can click on chat and add your answer in there, or we can come round you and just ask for your answer.
Yeah, you can always speak it. So Jamie asks, humans have evolved into what they are today after the passage of 6 to 7 million years. What percentage of that time have we been urbanized and living out of our natural environment? Is it A, 33%, B, 15%, C, 3%, or D, 0.01%? The countdown is ticking.
It is. So you guys have 1 minute to answer.
If anyone wants me to repeat the question,
That's a D.
I can indeed.
I need a
do
shower.
that.
Reverse. Yeah, repeat the question.
And then don't hold up your answers until we're done, just in case anyone else who hasn't got it sees.
Humans have evolved into what they are today after the passage of 6 or 7 million years. What percentage of that time have we been urbanized and living out of our natural environment? Is it A, 33%, B, 15%, C, 3%, or D, 0.01%?
C.
You got about 20 seconds left
C.
to answer, and then hold up your answers in after the timer, just so no one else can see, just in case you've got it right and no one else does.
Reminds me of being in prison.
9, 8, 7.
I feel like I'm back in my class.
4, 3, 2, 1.
So, the answer is, Dom?
The answer is D, 0.01%.
So we've got... So who did we have with D? We had Josh, Joe, Steve, Field and Steel, Steve,
I had just
State
written that.
Detective. And
Oh, I said
Dave, did
C.
you said
C.
C. So it's and
Yeah.
Dave without a point on that one, unfortunately.
The modular man. I like that.
So, how are we all doing, guys? That was a good little intro to the Wodesman trivia. We've obviously got Josh Beardwoods here. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, mate. I'm okay.
Good. And then we got Joe Price. Are you doing well?
Good, man. Good. Glad to be here.
Good. I'm glad. We've got Tim as well, haven't we? How are we, bud?
You do? Not too bad, yeah. I'm just here to make everyone else look good, so yeah. But still happy to be here.
Brilliant. Oh, next to him, we've got Steve from Field and Steel. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Hello.
Hey. Steve from the State Detective as well.
I say, old chaps, jolly good to see you all, and been busy sinking U-boats in the Atlantic, you see.
And then, David Fryer. So we're all on a big online chat at the moment recording this podcast, so we hope it comes across well for you guys, the listeners. It's been a lot of work, hasn't it, Tom?
It has, and we've had a lot of people behind the scenes that we've been calling up to help us with the technology today.
Yeah, big shout out to John. He gave us a lot of hands-on help behind the scenes, so this wouldn't be possible without him as a good friend.
Absolutely. But as we learned from question 1, we haven't had very long to adapt to our new urban environment.
That's it.
Only 0.01%, because the Industrial Revolution saw the beginning of urbanization, and less than 0.01% of our species' history has been spent in modern surroundings. So we can be forgiven for the odd technical hiccup.
Yeah, and actually since the year 2000, we've officially become an urban species, with the estimation that in the year 2050, 75% of the population will live in cities, which is
That's
a bit
crazy.
Unfortunate to me. I think all you guys could probably agree.
That's
Glad
crazy.
I'll be dead.
Hopefully not. So Jamie actually goes in with another question. So while we're on Jamie, Living Wild UK, we're going with his question. So the next one is, guys, and be ready to answer. And again, please don't hold up your answers until the time has been done. We'll give you only a minute this time. We gave you a little bit of extra on the first question. And the question is, where does the term bushcraft derive from? This is a bit of a hard one, but where does the term bushcraft derive from? And feel free to have little conversations to throw each other off throughout this little quiz. You can always throw in little false flags to each other.
Spread misinformation.
Easy now, Twitter.
Tim straight in there.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
So, the answer, can everyone hold up their answers? We have Josh with Steven Seagal. We have Joe Price with Rich's Races, is
I've
it?
got
Richard
striker.
Graves, Australia.
Richie Graves.
He's the man.
We've got Tim, TJ into the Wild, Ray Mears. We've got Steve, Field and Steel with Australia. We have Steve, State Detective. I can remember who was hiding under there. Crocodile Dundee. And we have David Fryers with Australia. And actually, although there's no definitive answer, it's most likely to have come from the Dutch word bosch, which means forest. But we would give a half point for Ray Mears. So Tim's got a half point.
Why would you give a half
Was
point
Tim
for
the only
Ray
one
Mears?
with
Richard Graves is the one who came up with the term. Richard Graves in
I only
like
put that.
1910.
You probably got it from.
I only put that
Give you a
because
half
Phil Bear Grylls. So.
This is
A half
a
point, it's a half point.
I'm afraid no points for Steven Seagal, though.
Okay, cool.
What
So
was the
Crocodile
perspective?
Dundee.
So it wasn't Richard
Yeah,
Graves, the guy
technically.
who wrote the book called Bushcraft. It was the Dutch. Okay, cool.
Might have been. Yeah, no, we can give a half point.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
What was the name, Liam?
I love it.
You said it derived from Bosch, was it?
Yeah, Bosch.
Bosch. Yeah, the Dutch name, the Dutch
As in
word
Bosch.
Bosch.
Boschcraft.
Bosch. Yeah.
Oh, Bosch.
Which means
Not,
I think
not
means
the Bosch,
forest.
Steve.
Oh, sorry, I got
Jerry.
I started to have a cold sweat then.
Did you want to
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Our next question is one of our special questions that have been submitted by one of the guests. So every one of the guests had the opportunity to submit a question to try and throw off the other guests. So this is just a little curveball we wanted to add into our trivia quiz. So this one comes from Steve, the state detective. Name 3 of the 5 Allied code names of the Normandy beaches of the D-Day landings assault in 1944. There is
Well,
a
we gave
bonus
Jolly
point
good spanking.
for the harbour. So name 3 of the 5 Allied code names of the Normandy beaches at D-Day.
I say, I see you chuckling away there, Steve.
We gave him a jolly good spanking, old chaps, didn't we?
So again, name 3 of the 5 Allied code names for the Normandy beaches of the D-Day landings in 1944.
A little bit of history. You're like, I didn't sign up to this. I signed up for a bushcraft quiz.
But apparently that was Ray Mears and the Dutch.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So,
Do you want to hold up? Yeah, hold up.
No,
your
I didn't even
arm.
write anything down, to be honest.
That's fine. Did you want to say anything out in case? No,
No,
nothing
it's
coming
all
to
right.
mind.
Rash
I'm
Bay, Charlie's Angels.
I'm useless with names. So we got Josh with Mary Poppins, Rash Bay, and Charlie's Angel.
Unfortunately not, Josh, but I applaud
got-
the effort.
I tried really hard,
Omaha.
guys. I'm sorry.
Omaha, is that Dakota and
It
Omaha?
is, yep.
From Joe. We got Omaha, Skegness, and Blackpool from Tim. Omaha, Blackpool, and Miami from Steve. Field and Steel. The state detective, what's he got? I say, I'll check all of them. I say.
Oh well, I've not written because I didn't know I was part of it, but I will we'll name them if you
I
want
know
me
you
to.
know the answers. So, go on.
Yeah, the correct answers are Sword, Juneau, Gold, Utah, and Omaha.
Utah was it.
And there is a bonus point if you noted down Mulberry Harbour, which is the harbour.
Sorry about that, old chaps. Threw a sticky wicket in there. You see.
It's all right. Everyone else will have a chance for revenge. So how many points did different people get? Josh, unfortunately, you didn't get a point for your Mary Poppins. Joe, you got 1.
Woo, I'm helping.
Tim,
Did you? What was yours again, Tim?
Omaha, Skegness, and Blackpool. I've got at least 2 of them right. I know
1
I
for
have.
Tim,
Steve got 1 as well.
Steve got 1,
Steve,
I'll just
and
get some Blackpool,
technically got 4.
an invasion
Okay.
beach.
right. So, just delete that question so we don't read them again. So we have one from myself and Tom here. This is a Wodesman question. Roughly how many species of animals, plants, fungi, and single-celled organisms are found in the UK? It will be the closest out of the following. A, 18,000. B, 34,000. C, 70,000. D, 82,000. Or E, 104,000. We'll go through them again. Is it A, 18,000, B, 34,000, C, 70,000, D, 82,000, or E, 104,000?
I'm getting confused now between how much bacteria is on your toilet seat. That number's in my head now.
There's a fair few toilet seats in the UK.
Some are scummier than others. Cancelled.
Yeah, that's it. Down. They're going to get us.
So
Does
in the
this
last
also
10 seconds,
include mythical animals such as womble, things like that?
9, 8, 7,
Not including one more, mate.
not in,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
so everyone hold up their answers. We have Josh with D. We have Joe Price with E. We have Tim with 82,000, which was D. We have Steve with D. Steve with E. And Gabe with E. So actually... So there are around 70,000 species of animals, plants, fungi, and single-celled organisms found in the UK. So it's actually D. So
Oh, play
It was actually C.
C. Sorry, C.
Oh,
So that was a curveball from us guys that no one got.
We weren't nice
That was
though.
that was a hard one.
Bradford.
I'm from Bradford.
There's a lot. I said that back.
I'm
You've
not
clearly
classed
never
as a
been to Leeds.
species, though, so don't worry.
Tim's his own species, isn't you, Tim?
I am
Okay, our next question is another Wodesman question. What do you call the horizontal lines or pores on trees such as birch trees, which are used for gas exchange?
Oh, they begin with a name. Oh, God.
That was me earlier, Joe.
That was Liam. He was like, "You mean."
Could you repeat the
This is-
question
this is a
again, guys,
difficult one.
please?
Yeah. The question again is, what do you call the horizontal lines or pores on trees such as birch used for gas exchange?
I'm probably in the right ballpark. I'm on the right
You
tangential
need it
plane, but I think it's probably wrong.
It is a hard one.
It's a
That.
good one.
That's a very...
And the way we've structured the quiz is designed to throw people off. Like, we'll throw in some history, we'll throw in some cookery questions, and then we'll bring it back to bushcraft just to throw people off. So
Little general knowledge.
it's deliberately.
oh, I know, I got it wrong.
10, 9, 8,
The horizontal lines, guys.
6,
I got it wrong.
4, 3, 2, 1.
So,
So the horizontal lines used for gas exchange on trees such as birch are called lenticels.
yeah, lenticels.
Wow.
No,
So again, another curveball there.
Another curveball. They are technically lines.
They are
So
technically-
I kind of agree with you there, Steve. They are lines, but
But
the
you spelled it
technical
right,
word.
Joe.
The medullary rays.
And medullary. Yeah.
Medullary rays. I did medullary rays.
We were in the right ballpark. We were still both wrong, apparently. So,
Yeah, I know.
Right ballpark.
No, really good effort, guys. That was a really hard one. And when Tom told me that, I just said, you are a mean bugger. So, we're going to go in with another Wodesman one here. Can you name 2 methods of food preservation? That's all we want from all of you. 2 methods of food preservation. It could be any 2. It doesn't have to be a particular food. So, any 2 methods of food preservation.
Put it in the fridge.
That's it. Could eat it.
Could eat it. Yeah.
I preserve my food by eating it.
Put it on the top shelf so the dog doesn't get it.
How are we all feeling? Confident?
no.
I only know how to turn alcohol into
2
regret.
methods
That's all I know.
of food preservation.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Let's
1.
everyone hold up. So we got Josh with salt and dry canning. Salt and pickling from Joe Price. Salting curing from Tim. salting, smoking, pickling, jerking, canning, and freezing from Steve, Field and Steel. We've got Steve, State
I know
Detective,
about
with
food.
salt and pickling. And then you've got David Fryers with smoking and in the ground.
Very good.
Yeah,
Nice.
very good. So we've got a whole round house on that one.
Absolutely.
Whole round house. The correct answers would have been jerky, smoking, salted, pickling, dehydration, freezing, ground storage. Perfect. So, Tom, it's your turn, I believe.
It is. Another fairly kind one by our standards, I think.
I think that's kind.
What do we call a simple woods bread made of flour, water, and sometimes other ingredients such as milk powder? So what do we call a simple woods bread made of flour and water and sometimes with added ingredients like milk
Are we
powder?
looking for the Ray Mears definition or the actual name?
Ooh, probably the Ray Mears definition, judging by how we've gone so far.
But you can throw in the actual name.
Yeah.
As well. Put both there.
Potentially get bonus points if you teach us it.
Hovis bread.
The simple woods bread made of flour, water, and sometimes milk powder.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Here we go.
So we got Bannock or Damper.
Steve.
Tim,
Sorry, I'll jump out of my league, I'm afraid.
and Dave with Bannock. So the only person who got it wrong there was Steve, the State Detective. And it is Steve.
I know which I prefer.
Get that one.
A nice, friendly bread to make in the woods, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Nice
It's
and easy.
a good skill to learn.
Mate,
Steve,
or video,
Steve,
Liam.
what's that savage bread that like clogs up your arteries and stuff? I can't get enough.
Wobbles.
That's the man. I love that stuff.
Wobbins.
It's like clay.
That's
inside
the
your
good
colon.
stuff, right
I
there.
swear to God, if they sold that here, I'd be a dead man. I'd be a dead man.
So we've got another Wodesman question here. What? Oh no, sorry, wrong one. Tree rings can provide precise information about environmental events. What is the name of this science practice? Is it A, ringology, B, dendrochronology, C, lignum tempus, D, arborochronology, or E, patience? Again, the name of the science practice of studying tree rings: ringology, dendrochronology, lignum tempus, arborochronology, or patience.
That's a mean question. You were feeling particularly grumpy when you wrote that one, weren't you?
Have Lincoln Tempest, were they involved with the Crusades?
Yeah.
Sounds
I
like it.
can't say anything.
Yeah, could you repeat it quickly?
Yeah, of course. Tree rings can provide precise information about environmental events. What is the name of this science practice? Is it A, ringology, D, dendrochronology, C, lignum tempus, D, arborochronology, or E, patience?
Cool. Cheers, mate.
No worries. So we've got A, ringology, B, dendrochronology, C, lignum tempus, D, arborochronology, or E, patience.
When Liam asked me this, I got it very wrong.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
So we have Josh with D, we have Joe Price with B,
Yeah, I think that's
we have
Dendro.
Tim with B, we have Steve, Field and Steer with B, we have Steve, State Detective with D, and we have David Fryers with A. And it is, in fact, dendrochronology, and it is the science of dating trees from their rings.
So well done, everyone that said B. That was not an easy question.
That wasn't. That was a hard one. But just a little... The aim of this, again, is to try and educate the listeners. So there's a little bit of fun there for people to... A little facts for them to walk away with. you want to do another one, Tom?
Mhm.
Whatever one.
Okay, a nice one here. Who wrote the famous SAS survival handbook that so many of us started our bushcraft journeys with?
He was a tall,
Oh, I
smart
see
man.
Dave there. Just he's like me, remembering names. I'm useless.
It's as soon as you get asked it on something that's actually like a podcast, it's just everything goes
Brain's
blank.
Yep.
So again,
Who wrote the famous SAS survival handbook that got so many people into bushcraft?
it's a tough one. We hope we're not putting you guys under too much pressure.
I've seen him so many times and I can't think of his name now. I've got the
Yeah.
books.
I can see the little book, and I can't remember the name on
I
it.
don't. I would say I don't like the new one.
I've seen him so many times.
They should have left it with that like 1990s black and white cover. The new one, the camo covers, it's a bit special.
We'll even take the nickname.
Absolutely.
Begins with an L.
10, 9, 8, 7,
Can't
So the
remember.
answer to that
6,
A lofty voice. Oh,
Lofty Wise Whistle.
yeah, I forgot.
1.
So, and
I
Steve
love the
and
wise
Dave
whistle.
were the only ones who didn't get that, unfortunately.
No,
John Lofty Wiseman.
I've got the book right sitting up there, but I weren't going to cheat and have a look.
Oh,
That
We've
is
got to give
really
him a point
honourable.
for
I
that.
think that's a bonus point there for honour.
There we
I
are.
didn't realise we were getting honesty point.
Oh no, there's always honesty
Ah, there
points.
it
but
is.
As soon as people try to
Yeah, that.
There it is.
Yeah. The original cover were better. The first cover were better.
Yeah, I've got the visual
Black-
ones
the black and white
in
one.
the characters.
And they were huge.
Brilliant. Well done, guys. That was really good. So we have another one from our guest here. And you'll probably all guess from the question who it's from. And I'll tell you who it's from afterwards. The question is, when was Fedora invented? So we have the question, when was Fedora invented?
No multiple choice here. We just
No.
no multiple choice, but
Closest to. So if none of you get the exact date, then we're closest to. So you can have a wild guess, stab out of the dark if that's all you're relying on. That's what I'd be relying on.
this is a mean.
I was
question.
20 years out, wasn't
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I got the question, I instantly tried to think to myself, when would it have been? And I was completely incorrect by about 40 years, I think.
Yeah.
It's one of these trick ones like Ventile. Oop.
Oh, yeah. Even stuff like Gore-Tex, different,
Yeah. Well, there is another question about fabrics as well, which we'll get to in a minute.
there is.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Let's go.
3, 2,
1904, says Josh. Joe thinks it was 1970s.
1945 from Steve. 65 from Tim. 60s. And 29.
Okay, so David...
And it was, of course, a question from Mr. Fryers, so he's guaranteed a point.
And
on
the
that
closest was State Detective, so State Detective gets...
Yeah.
What did Josh write?
What did you write?
1904. So yeah, he's closer. So Josh, you get a bonus
Josh
point
gets
for
the
being
point.
the closest.
And it was 1929. It was mainly developed for military use in the World Wars.
That's beast.
Sweet.
That's cool.
Mainly pioneered in World War II. So
yeah, I thought it was not until because I got thrown by thinking they were still using other forms of materials during the Second World War. So I
Me
thought
too.
it was 50s.
I thought.
So I was completely amazed when I learned it was 1929.
Yeah.
I just went with
Yeah.
NASA.
It's
It's always NASA. It's always
It's
NASA.
when they
that
combine
invented
plastics with cotton.
No, I think it's pretty stick because I think I got confused because you didn't see much of the military Cordura stuff kind of hit the markets, the second-hand markets, until like the late 50s, early 60s. So
That's true.
It's
Yeah.
really
Same time as Bakelite, was it, Dave? Was it the same sort of time as Bakelite when that started? or not
Yes,
really?
it really was developed mainly in the Second World War when they started using it back then. But the first fedora really came about when they sort of brought plastics and cotton together to create a door type material.
Good question.
I like that one. Well done.
Yeah.
So we have a question in from another one of our listeners and friends. So this is from Joe Poshrat, and he wants to know, what indigenous friction fire technique can you find being used commonly in Polynesia? So what indigenous friction fire technique is used commonly in Polynesia?
Oh, pick one, Joe. Pick
Bit of a
one.
tribal one, that.
Yeah.
Going under the sea for that.
And we're not saying this is the only friction fire method that's used in Polynesia. It's just
what would be the most commonly found one.
yeah.
A shout out to Joe. Joe's a cool dude.
He's a very cool dude.
He's a top bloke.
I like
That is
Poshrat.
wicked. Have you seen him on? Oh, you've seen him on a hand drill, haven't you?
Oh, that's great.
Well, me, you, and him
Yeah,
did one together, didn't we?
Yeah, he's an absolute beast on it,
He's a
mate.
machine.
So again, what indigenous friction fire technique could you find used in Polynesia?
10, 9,
Everybody panic.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
So the most common.
They're getting the hand of this, aren't they? All holding up their answers at the right time. I love this.
Nice. Okay, so the correct answer is the fire plough.
So we have Steve and Joe Price. Steve's Field and Steel and Joe Price with the correct answers.
Absolutely.
We have
And
Josh with the fire saw. We had Steve, state detector with compression. We had Dave Price with hand drill, and we had TJ Into the Wild with, what was it again? Sorry, buddy. Hand drill. Which
Sorry,
I'm sure
I'm sure they
Right,
probably
well,
use it.
well, quickly enough there again.
No, because Joe sent it in. Joe is a hand drill beast, like you said, Josh. And I was like, oh, it's hand drilled. It's Joe. Haha. But then I was like, no, it's actually the fire drill. So I had to change it. But, yeah, no.
So he actually sends in the indigenous name for the fire plough as well as a little bit of trivia
legit?
for us to impart to
Can
our
you say this
listeners. I'm going to try and pronounce it, but I don't speak Polynesian, funnily enough. So if I get this wrong, apologies to our Polynesian listeners. So the fire plough,
Shame
or
on you.
hika'ahi. Hika'ahi is the fire plough, and it's commonly used in Polynesia. So mad respect to them.
Yeah, really awesome question from Joe there. Really like that one. So we have another question here. It'd be hopefully a quick one for you guys. What month or months does birch sap rise? What month or months does birch sap tend to rise?
And that would be in the UK.
In the Northern Hemisphere. Or in the UK. What month or months does birch sap rise? You don't have to get all of them. You can get one of them, or you can get
Yeah, there are three potential correct answers, and we'll accept any of them.
any of the three.
So I know I'm going to get into trouble because Eda tells me every year, and I'm like, no, you're wrong. And she's like, no, it's this. And I keep forgetting all the time. But
This is when we give the wrong answer, and then Eda comes in and tells us, no.
No, but again, it's different in the north and Canada and all these places. But we'll ballpark it. We'll see.
So if you haven't written anything down, now's your time to just panic and write as much as you can down.
5, 4, 3.
So the answers we would have accepted for what month or months does birch sap rise would have been March, April, or May, and we have Josh with March. Everyone has got one of them. That's it. Yeah.
Hey,
So we've got March, February, March, April, May. We've got Steve Field and Steel with all of them. In fact,
brilliant. So we'll
Yeah,
give him a bonus point.
and well done. Yeah, really good question,
Look,
that one.
Eda, I got it right.
Well done, Joe. You can sleep assured tonight.
You're not in trouble.
Yeah, I'm good.
We didn't see any pots flying over the camera.
no shoe.
Little fluffy Christmas slipper comes flying into shot.
It'll have been a size 4 Mindle.
Okay, so what are 2 of the 5 main methods of heat loss? So we only need to get 2 of them. There are 5. So just think about methods of heat loss. How might you lose heat to your environment?
Yep. And if you can't, if the wording's, if you're using a bit of a different term to the actual scientific term, we'll let you off. So, for example, if it was, between football and ball, we'd be fine with ball or whatever,
You don't lose heat to football, mate.
Well, no. Well, you gain it.
So I'll read the question one more time. What are 2 of the 5 main methods of heat loss?
We're only looking for two of them. There's 5 main methods of heat loss. And you got about 20 seconds left, so...
This is one of those questions that people think about all the time when they're building shelters and making camps, but often don't think about the terminology of what they're actually insulating themselves from.
I struggle with this wording.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
So, let's see. Oh, got some good answers there.
Good. Yep, convection, conduction, radiation, evaporation. You do lose a lot of heat through your head. That's true. Cold water exposure. Again, I think we can probably give a point for cold water exposure. Dampness, absolutely.
Ground. So we've got the floor, ceiling, walls.
Not so sure about that. Sorry, Steve.
We can't accept the walls of the ceiling.
So,
Steve Field of Steel with convection, perspiration, radiation.
Perspiration would be the same as evaporation.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we would have the correct answers being...
The correct answers are conduction, convection, radiation, evaporation, and respiration.
So any of the kind of, any of the methods within those realms we would have accepted.
Any of those methods are acceptable. As Paul says when I watch him teach his lessons on heat loss, he always says we can't do very much about respiration, so it's about controlling the others to manage your heat loss.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Good question there. So we actually have a question here from one of our listeners, and this one comes all the way over the seas from Arizona. So thank you, Ty S, over there in Arizona. And he says, the question is it true? So it's a simple yes or no, true or false question. Is it true that if you're lost in the desert, you can cut open cactus to access the water inside? Again, is it true that if you're lost in the desert, you can cut open cactus to access water inside? So just a true or a false answer there from everyone.
Is this one of those ones where is it movie knowledge or legit knowledge?
Hey,
absolutely, yeah.
I've seen Clint Eastwood do it, so yeah.
Always trust Clint. So we've got 10 seconds coming up now. Is it true that you can get water from a cactus in the desert?
7, 6, 5.
So Ty S gives us the answer, which is
1.
it's false. No, to the contrary, the liquids as well as the flesh and skin in a cactus have a high acid and alkaloid content that will induce diarrhea, vomiting, dizziness, and disorientation, and just make your situation worse. Additionally, they would never survive if they were full of water because they would become constantly predated upon by animals for their water. The only exception is prickly pear cactus which has various species that are often referred to as nopales or nopales, which is cooked or pickled as a local delicacy. So we have false from Steve, Field and Steel, false State Detective.
True. I said true.
I
You
learned
said
something
true,
new today.
Dave.
Yeah.
See, Josh put depending on species, which kind of is true because of the haircut.
So you have to cook it.
You do have to
You need to get a
so,
snake like Bear Grylls and win it.
so who got a point?
It's either that or Clint
Did you
Eastwood's
get
wrong,
true
which
or
I
false on that
refuse
one,
to do.
Joe?
Joe put true.
True. False. And then, yeah, so it was Steve.
Got a point.
Yeah, both the Steves got a point. And I'll leave Josh at your discretion.
Ooh.
Well, it is.
What do you reckon, guys?
Open it to the floor. It's depending on species worth at half point.
Probably not.
Probably
Because
not.
otherwise it would have
No,
been.
think so.
No, we can't. Unfortunately, otherwise it was unfair for everyone else. Everyone could have put maybe.
That is the winning answer, isn't it? Maybe.
There it is.
Yeah.
There's the fence, and I'm going to sit on it.
Yeah.
So we have another listener question. Hopefully a slightly easier question than the last few that we've had. This is a very nice, kind one from a lovely listener called Tomo Thompson, who's from Galloway and Dumfries. And he asks, is using dead standing conifer wood good for making feather sticks? Yes or no? So dead standing conifers, would you use it for a feather stick? Would you use dead standing spruce, pine, things like that for your feather sticks?
That's spruce. Yeah.
Joe is just holding up the picture perfect.
Maybe.
Yeah. Joe, I don't want to alarm you, but I think that gave me a tingle when I saw that.
Well, look, this might be a differ of opinion, but yeah. Okay, cool.
Oh, you must have been reading that new book coming up by Joe Price again, Phils, haven't you? So, is using dead standing conifer wood good for making feather sticks? Yes or no?
I'm trying to think of that cool video where Morris Kachansky feather sticks a tree.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
So,
3,
we got Josh Feardwood saying yes, Joe Price saying yes, depending on decay, which is very true. Got Tim saying no, Field and Steel, yes, Steve State Detective, no, Dave Fryers with yes. The correct answer is yes. The wood holds a good resin that is highly flammable unless completely punky.
And the person we were talking about last week with you, Joe, the Northwest Primate, is a perfect example of how conifers can be used very effectively to make feather sticks.
He says, hey guys, by the way.
If,
All Northwest.
what was that, Joe?
North
Sorry.
says, hey.
Oh, fantastic. Well, with a massive shout out to him.
Massively.
His feather sticks are insane.
Yeah. Something else. So yeah, thanks for that, Tomo. And if any of you listeners want to send in a question for the next Wodesman trivia, whenever that will be, send it over to the Wodesman podcast at gmail.com and we'll make sure we include it. If some of our guests want to come back, if they're not completely horrified by this first experience so far.
We can't cover any counselling fees that are incurred by participation in this live stream. Just so we're clear.
So we have a question here from one of your rivals. So, other rivals, get your pens ready. We have, and again, I'll give you the name of the culprit after we've given the question and the answer. What animal in Old English is described as a fitch? And we do get a bonus point here for Latin. So what is the name of what animal in Old English was described as a fitch?
Lord.
Fitch. Fitch. And I had no idea.
I had no clue.
So I don't know why we're asking you. One of your rivals, actually. Someone's already given up. Can't handle it.
State detective's passed out from the stress.
It's a difficult one, old
He
boy.
hasn't had this much struggle since the trenches, have you, old chap?
No. Sticky wicket, you see.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
So,
3,
let's get everyone's answer.
1.
We have Joe Price with Squirrel. We have Tim, TJ into the Wild, GNU.
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 We have Field and Steel with Fox. We have Steve, the State Detective, with Rommel, the
Desert
Fox.
Fox.
And we have Dave Fryers with Fish. So, the dirty rival who gave you that awful question is Mr. Josh Beardwoods, and it's actually the polecat, or Mustela putorius. Mustela putorius.
Deadly.
Classic
Really
Richard
Nice
Adams.
little drawing on it.
There's no need for that, Josh. There's really no need for that.
So yeah, good question and answer there, Josh. That was really good. You taught me something there. So I
It's all
appreciate
in
that.
Watership Down, mate. If you read Watership Down by Richard Adams, it's all there.
Read it once, cried once.
I will have
won't
to
read it
teach him
again.
to read first.
The polecat.
Such a good book.
Brilliant.
Such a good book.
So do we want a little tally up of scores at the moment? Well, let's have a little listen and see who's in what place now. We're getting through the questions. So how's everyone feeling? Everyone doing all right?
Slightly drunk.
Hey, good.
Same.
My quiz, got the quiz juice on the go. Keeps me sharp.
So Tom's just tallying up the.
I'm just
scores
doing
at
some
the
maths. If I get it wrong, don't shoot me. I only teach maths to some people who are children and rely on me to teach them.
Yeah, but they don't know if you're wrong.
That's
Who
it.
watches the Wodesman?
I just blame them.
Are they listeners, Tom? Are they tuning into the wireless?
Okay, so I have done some tallying. I have done some
Go on.
mental
Let's
maths.
see.
The beer hasn't quite got to my head just yet. So let's start. We've got three people. I'm not going to say their scores, who are very, very close
So
at the lower end.
okay.
So Tim, State Detective, and Dave, you three are not quite there.
they're not far
but
off.
you're not far off. It's only a couple of
But-
points, so we can swing
Yeah,
it.
and when he's saying a couple of points, it is.
It is literally
scraping the teeth of like each
that.
other.
So
Come on,
Josh,
boys, dig deep.
you have
in.
10 points, Josh, so far. Mr. Joe Price, are you ready for this? Are you prepared?
Do I need lubricant?
If this was X Factor, we'd see you all again after the break, wouldn't we? Joe, you are in second place with 13 points. And Mr. Field and Steel, you are currently 1 point ahead with 14.
Well, Steve, my
So
dad always
this
told me
is
gentlemen don't
anyone.
say
No.
And
This
when
is
it's going
anyone
on,
saying-
Hold hands over the finish line, I think. Like they do.
and the lower three are only points away.
Yeah, literally
This
one
could
or 2
change
points in it.
in a question.
I'll stop
This
trying
could
to
change
ask.
in 2 questions. Should we go in for another one?
Let's go in for another one. Let me just have a deep breath.
I read the last one, didn't I?
Yeah.
So I think it is you.
Maybe we'll do the Greenland expedition
Oh,
one.
Lord.
Yes.
TJ,
If we
let's
can
hold
find
the
it.
line. old
Oh,
chap.
there's a
Hold
little
the
hint, a
line.
little teaser already.
Okay.
Yep.
There are 2 parts to this question. Which company famous helped design gear for and equip the Greenland expedition in 1966? For a bonus point, what is the fabric called that they designed as a result from feedback that the explorers gave them? So which company famously helped design gear for and equip the Greenland expedition, I repeat, the Greenland expedition in 1966? For a bonus point, what fabric did they design as a result of feedback from the explorers? Anyone who's struggling, if you know your products, they have named jackets after this expedition.
Yep, and they are around that kind of area. So it's not an American company. or that side of the world. It's nearer to the place where the expedition took part.
And you can tell it's the bushcraft show because you turn up and you see it everywhere.
Owner's name is
That
Orca.
rules Primark out, doesn't it?
It does a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Primani.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Ooh, look at that.
Very nice.
Oh, I'm seeing a lot of correct answers.
Oh, that's a good effort, State Detective. It actually wasn't Gore-Tex.
So with bonus points, so let's put the bonus points down first. Bonus points, we have Joe Price, Dave Fryers, and Tim with G1000. And of course, it is Fjallraven. So we have everyone apart from Steve, the State Detective, unfortunately.
Good work, Gore-Tex, the best fabric ever, Steve.
Jerry got you on a sticky wicket there, old boy.
Was a bit of a trick question, you see.
You'll send Jerry round to sort us out later.
Yeah, the blighter must have cut the line on the way in, you see. Transmission didn't get picked up. So never mind, next time.
Okay, so the next one is, which is the true tinder fungus? Is it chaga or Fomen fomentarius? Which is the true tinder fungus? Is it Fomen fomentarius or chaga?
So Fomus fomentarius is the horse's hoof.
That's it.
And chaga is the one that you see lots of people make tea with.
Surely it depends on where you are.
Commonly found on birch trees.
Ooh.
I actually found some lovely examples of both, Joe, when I was in your neck of the woods in Sweden many years ago.
Yeah, now we've a container of it here. Funny enough, you can hand drill into chaga, FYI.
I have to try that. I've got a block.
Yeah, it's worth its weight in gold, my man. So it's what you.
I had some recently from our mate Rob at Storebrand Limited. Very good.
Oh, Storebrand Limited.
Shout out to Rob.
Shout out to Robert.
9, 8, 7,
So,
6,
the correct answer is we have Beard Woods, Josh, Chaga. We have Joe Price, Fomen fomentarius. We have Tim with chaga. We have Field and Steel with chaga. We have the State Detective with chaga. We have David Fryers with chaga. The correct answer is chaga. Fomen fomentarius is known as false tinder fungus, despite being a very useful tinder.
There you go.
So it was in fact chaga, and that was a question from the Wodesman to my right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That was a
Good question.
That was a
old
real
boy.
curveball.
They're both the like most used tinder funguses, and everyone frequently uses true tinder fungus for both names.
Yeah.
But traditionally, Fomus fomentarius was called the false tinder fungus.
So there we are. We have a few more questions from listeners as well. We got a few more from the Wodesman, and we've got a few from the rivals still sitting at the table. Thank you all for carrying on through this trivia.
So this next question comes from one of the rivals, one of our participants on the podcast, looking very innocent there with a nice big smile and a Santa Claus hat. But don't let the looks deceive you. There is a cold-blooded killer beneath that friendly smile.
I really am.
And he wants to ask, which UK knife maker designed the Wodesman knife?
The Woodsman.
So we've got lots of other knives called Woodlaws and things like that. The Woodsman is the one that Liam has always traditionally used and is made by Castrom.
But not designed by Castrom. So who is the designer for the Woodsman?
Absolutely. Who is the knife designer who actually designed the knife?
I've forgotten who it is now.
Oh no, Tim!
Oh no, Tim! This is your guaranteed
His
point.
evil plan backfired. Killed by my own monster.
Pulling up the email.
Are you still using that one, Liam?
Occasionally, no, not as much as the Evo Pro, buddy.
Safe.
The Evo Pro, I was cutting Polish bacon with that bad boy yesterday.
Good stuff, mate.
We have our split around the next as well.
Yeah, I've got mine in the other room.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Awesome.
So, the knife designer from the UK who actually designed the Castron
UK.
Wodesman is the Roger Harrington.
So we have Roger Harrington.
Josh got that right.
Joe Piper, Lars Fault. We have Tim. You got your own question right. Roger
Yeah.
Harrington.
Roger, get at me.
Fixed
Pony up.
bayonet, though.
Runs the best bushcraft show in the
I'm the
UK.
foggiest old boy, so I just went with fixed bayonets. So Wild Boys
Did you
were
have
over the top
anything,
of it.
Dave, there?
Yeah, well, I put Ben Alford, but I actually was going to put Roger on there because I started it. And then I
Half point.
Half a point for David there. Writ the word Roger. We'll allow half.
That's
So,
half the answer.
That is half the answer.
Oh,
So-
no, he's got one there.
Look at
Oh,
that.
he's got one there. Good man. With the bog oak handle.
Lovely guy.
I'm not allowed to publicly talk about
Okay.
Castrum. It's a court order. we were with that cracking.
I have to fulfil my obligations, you know.
No, that crackers. I never knew that about Roger. That's pretty slick.
So the next question is, the largest individual tree in the world is the giant redwood called General Sherman, which has a height of 275 foot, a girth of 25 foot, and a volume of how many cubic feet? Is it A, 38,600, B, 49,800, C, 52,500, or D, 61,000? Again, the question is, what is the volume in cubic feet for the big giant redwood called General Sherman? Is it A, 36,000, B, 49,800, C, 52,500, or D, 61,000?
That's a hard question.
What height was it?
Well, if anyone's good at mental arithmetic, they might get it.
275.
Also, you managed to mention girth on air without laughing.
So again, it was. The tree is called General Sherman, which has a height of around 275 foot and a girth of 25 foot. What is the volume in cubic feet? A, 38,600, B, 49,800, C, 52,500, or D, 61,000?
4, 3, 2,
That question made you work for that, didn't it?
So we've got D,
Fucking loads.
C, D, D, B. We have Tim, TJ into the wild with the correct answer of 52,500. We had Joe with B. We had
Wait, it's
Always bring a calculator.
I thought 52k was D, not C.
no 61,000, was it?
Oh, no, Josh.
Well, 52,000. That's fine. So we'll give the ones who've written that down.
I
as
cover
fine,
up the D, so I just heard it wrong.
52,000.
What was
So
B?
Steve, Josh, and Steve Field and Steele, Josh and Tim.
Yep.
Perfect. Sorry about the confusion there.
That's right.
But yeah, it was 52,500, and again, a pretty nasty one, but that's why we made it a bit of a multiple choice, so it was just a random pick of the wild for all of you.
Okay, so we're going to do another woods knowledge question now. So, what is a hardwood called that has been preserved in a peat bog or in similar conditions underwater? It typically takes on a jet black appearance and is almost fossilized. It's a very hard material and is often used in knife making for scales and even by pipe makers who want to make a hard wearing pipe. So I'll say that again. What is the name for a hardwood which has been preserved in a peat bog or in similar conditions underwater? It typically takes on a jet black appearance and is almost fossilized, used in knife making and pipe making.
So there's a hardwood.
It's a hardwood. Yep.
Okay. Hardwood that's been preserved in water.
Or a peat
marsh.
bog.
Peat bog.
I can just feel the tension. I tell you what, if you could see how close it is after that last round, you guys will be feeling even more tense.
This is going to be right. We'll do one more question. We're going to have a little round up and tally up the score for the last section of questions. Make sure I'm doing okay. So, can we have your answers?
I didn't know it.
We have Josh with Bog Oak, Joe with Bog Oak, Tim with Bog Oak, Steve with Bog Oak, and Dave Fryers with a scribble.
Nothing. I didn't know. No, I didn't know what it was. I was just doodling something.
That's a hard question, but the answer is actually Bog Oak, and it's a really cool material. I've used it. I've even actually whittled it before, and it blunted my knives very, very quickly. Interesting bit of trivia for those people. I know me and Dave are both pipe smokers, but pipe makers do actually make pipes out of Bog Oak, but they don't call it Bog Oak. They refer to it as a material called mortar, but it is, from what I can tell, the same thing. It's a piece of oak that sat in a peat bog for a very long time and become almost petrified and gone jet black. So pipe makers call it mortar, but we as bushcrafters would call it Bog Oak.
I'd say it's the strongest mortar.
Brilliant.
You old chaps.
There's absolutely loads of it on the Somerset levels down here. They're digging it up all the time.
I've got
Really?
a few in my fish tank
Yeah,
downstairs.
we got all the peat bogs down here, like the Ashcott Heath Moor and all that sort of stuff. So they're digging up bits loads.
So, guys, we've had a few more questions since we last did a little tally up. Tom's going to put them together because I think the race has tightened up a little bit. I think we've got some heads and shoulders right now.
Okay, Josh, you are on 15.
Yes, get on.
Joe, you are on 17. Tim, you are on 15 and a half. Tim, you're on 15 and a half. Steve, Field and Steel, you are on 5, 10, 15, 18. And Steak Detective, you're on 10. And Dave, you are on 11 and a half.
1 point in Steve.
So still fairly tight. It's still anyone's game.
If someone brings up Tom Clancy, I'm leaving. It's rigged.
We are entering the final phase of our first ever quiz. So from me and Liam, just a heartfelt thank you to everyone who has bothered to give up their evening to come and share it with us for this little Christmassy Wodesman special.
A little Wodesman special.
It is really appreciated by us. We know everyone's busy. We've got a lot of professional people on this stream, and none of you had to give up your evening to spend it with us. So
I'll take that compliment all day.
No, that's cool, mate. That's good.
Thanks for setting it up.
So, here's a little fun one, actually. To start it off after the score settled, and we'll give some of you a chance to get another point. How many axes are under Tom's bed? So we have A, 1 but it's a double bit, B, 4, C, 9, D, 13, or E, 21. So we have A, 1 but it's a double bit, B, 4, 9 is C, D is 13, and E is 21. Now, how many axes can a man have?
Liam, I just want to know under what circumstances you've been under Tom's bed.
we don't want to talk about this. This is a family show. I've just realised I've really shot myself in the foot with asking this question because Emma's going to listen to this and she's going to be like, "There are that many under my bed."
That's why they're under your bed, mate, because you're hiding them from her.
Exactly.
And we have F, none.
That's a safe one. We'll get that in editing.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Answers, please.
1.
So we have. Let's do 1. We have Dave Fryers with A. We have E as Field and Steel. We have Josh Fieldwoods with E21. Tim with 9. And Steve, the State Detective, with 4.
So, I mean,
is it going to have to be nearest? Do you reckon?
It's going to have to be nearest, but I'm denying that there are any axes under the bed, first and foremost. But if I was to be pressured and say how many there were, it would be 13. There are 13 axes under my bed. One of them is a double bit, a very large double bit.
Well, the only reason I put 8, because I remember you said you had a double bit, and I couldn't remember if it was under your bed or...
Yes, the burglar.
You had all of them under now.
But yeah, I have 13 axes.
Well done, Tim.
So, I mean, I wasn't expecting you guys to get that right, because hopefully you haven't been looking under my bed.
I had 9.
So, we have a question here from one of your rivals. What leaf bush, common in the UK, produces cyanide gas when burnt? What leafed bush, common in UK gardens, produces cyanide gas when burnt? Now, if you listened to the last Wodesman and paid careful attention, you might have actually heard the answer to this question in that podcast.
Yep.
Tom very kindly supplied it, didn't you?
I did.
Little bit of trivia, Liam. My grandfather was an entomologist. He used to use this particular plant or this tree to... he used to gather insects or beetles and to pin them out on a board. He used to put them in a jar and crush the leaves up.
It's why
Oh,
people...
amazing. I thought he was going to say he tested it on you.
No, well, maybe. That's like a few things.
It still puts an awful lot of people down for that reason, Josh. There's an awful lot of people who prune it in their garden and then drive it to the local tip in the back of the car and they're just like, oh.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's pungent stuff.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
So the answer is,
1.
and everyone read it up. So we've got Prunus, and yeah, we will give a bonus point for Latin, of course. Prunus Lorocerus. Yes. We have Steve Field and Steel with Holly. We have Laurel with Josh Fieldwood, Tim with Gorse, and State Detective. Did you have anything?
I didn't have the foggiest, old chaps, I'm
You
afraid.
drew a blank on that one. Dave, you drew a blank on that one.
Yeah, no, I just blank on that one, mate.
That was me last week on the podcast. If Tom wasn't there, I'd have looked a right fool in front of you, Joe. It is, in fact, Cherry Laurel, Prunus Loricera. And that question was from you, wasn't it, Jay?
It was.
It was indeed.
Good question.
Perfect. Yeah,
I don't know what makes
I'll
cyanide.
use that.
no,
I'll use that. I'll miss your State Detective, you see.
This next question comes in from Tom Uridge from near Cirencester, Gloucestershire. Wood can be turned into charcoal by thermal decomposition in the absence of oxygen. What is the name of this process? Now, this is a really hard one. I had no idea.
Oh, the scientific name or the bushcraft name?
The scientific name.
You could give the bushcraft name if it's like you're falling back on it and you think that's all you can give. We'll take it.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
what was the question again, guys? Sorry.
Wood can be turned into charcoal by thermal decomposition in the absence of oxygen. What is the name of this process?
I know.
So we'll accept either the bushcraft name or the scientific name, I think.
Yeah.
You don't
That's
accept the
really
normal
tough.
common name that humans use, yeah?
Humans use.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Let's see
5,
your answers.
4, 3,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
1.
2 points for John.
So we have
Dave.
Magic.
One.
Magic. So yeah, I mean, Tim's really.
I don't think we can give charcoal making just because it was in the
No, that's true.
Well, that's what we call it.
Charcoal burning.
charcoal burning.
Charcoal burning.
Charcoal burning.
Them bins.
Yeah, we have
Get in
charring
the
or
bin, light fire, sort it out, jobs.
Charring is the bushcraft name. That's what we used to make charcloth. The technical name, I didn't know this until Tom sent in his question, so I learned something from this. So thank you, Tom. The technical name is pyrolysis.
yeah.
So really good knowledge there.
Thank you, Tom. So yeah, again, if you want to send a question into Wodesman Trivia for the next one, whenever that may be, send it over to our email address or Instagram, and we'll include it in.
Probably just be the two of us next time. No one else will want to join us after they've seen how savage these questions are.
I'll be quizzing Tom on my own. So we've got another one here, actually, from another guest. Again, from Joe Poshrat, a great guy, really nice chap. The question is, munter, clove, half and rolling are all types of what? Munter, clove, half and rolling are all types of what?
Ooh, that is hard. I think we're all going to need to lie down after this, to be honest.
Again, munter, clove, half and rolling are all types of what?
Hey.
Joe is a bit of a smart fellow. It's quite a bit of a sticky one.
Lady of the Night.
I've had a few monsters in my time.
Although it's one of those ones, I think you can kick yourself afterwards.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Let's see your answers.
1.
So we
Too
have.
fast for me, Steve. Too fast.
No, that's it. Joe Price with a question mark. Dave Fryers with a question mark. We've got Field and Steel with hitch. We've got Josh with cordage making. We've got Tim
hitch.
with hitch. We have Steve with antiseptic. It is, in fact, a hitch. So, a type of knot, a hitch.
Right.
So we have Field and Steel and Tim. Well done, boys. That's
Nice.
good effort there. That was a hard one.
I'd never heard of munter hitch or rolling hitch, so I need to look those up and learn those.
I'd only heard of munter.
You want to learn the
As
munter
an
hitch?
insult.
No, the clove
Find
threw
you
me
a
off. I was
matador,
like,
don't
God
worry
damn.
about that, boy.
Good question.
Which UK tree has black buds? Is it A, oak, B, lime, C, birch, D, ash, or E, rowan? Which tree has black buds? Oak, lime, birch, ash, or rowan?
Do we get a bonus for Latin?
Ooh, fancy.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you want to speak the Latin, if anyone finds it hard to read Latin or write Latin, if they want to just say it as well, they can do.
All right.
Or an attempt at spelling Latin.
Giving us a language you can't even speak.
So, again, what
They're 400 years
UK
of mess.
tree has black buds? Is it A, oak, B, lime,
Bloody
C,
Romans,
birch,
what they ever
D,
done
ash,
for us, eh?
or E, rowan?
If I got it right.
It's hotting up in here.
It's heating up, right.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
See, very nice.
Joe Price with ash. We have David Fryers with rowan. We have Field and Steel with birch. We have Josh with Fraxinus Excelsior or ash. We have TJ Into the Wild with D, ash. And we have Steve, State Detective, with E, rowan. And it is, in fact...
It's ash. Fraxinus Excelsior, is that right? Fraxinus Excelsior?
Excelsior.
It sounds like a Harry
I
Potter
always think
spell,
that sounds like a spell. Spell, yeah.
yeah.
Field and Steel's just become a frog on the other end of the Skype call.
So, another question. We have from one of the contestants, another one of the rival questions. So this one might throw you up. Name 2 types of carbon steel used in the knife-making industry.
All right, Steve.
Name 2 types of carbon steel used in the knife-making industry. There are multiple options, obviously. There's a few more than 2. We just thought there's quite a lot of different steels in general, be them carbon or whatever.
We also reserve the right to ask Field and Steel and Josh advice on this because I'm sure there are steels that we don't know about. So
This is multiple choice.
No, so this is just name 2 types of carbon steel used in the knife making industry. So again, that is carbon steel used for knife making
metal.
Technically, they all contain carbon.
Hey, that is true. That is
Points
true.
for everyone.
Points for everybody. Okay, non-stainless carbon steels.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Reveal your answers. Hey.
1.
Oh, there we are. So we have Joe Price with 1095, 1075, M2 WZ.
2.
We have
I just can't write.
2. Sorry, no, that's me reading it backwards. We have David Fryers with 01 and D2. We have Josh Theodwoods with 1095, 80 CRV2, 01, 1085, and Chinesium. We have
the finest.
The finest grade of steel.
Pack Mastis.
we have Tim with Sleepner and Bowler, and we
They're
have
manufacturers though. They manufacture more than one type of steel, so
Okay, so no points
you
there.
can't have them.
and we have Rolled Steel and 2. Is that?
Rolled steel, number 2.
It was the start of something, old boy, and then I kind of gave up, so I just rolled steel in the
It's
end.
half of 01.
Half of 01.
Brilliant. So well done, guys. That was a really good question.
So
And
the
that,
maximum
of course-
number of points for that question that I'm giving are 2.
Yeah,
So
and we have to give Field and Steel 2 because that, of course, was Steve from Field and Steel's question.
Yeah, and actually, Josh got the only one that is a carbon steel that a lot of people think is a stainless, and it's not, which is 80 CRV2.
Right. Awesome. Thank you so much. I've got a knife made out of that actually as well. Yeah, little
It's
neck
good
knife.
stuff. It's pretty tough.
It is.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
So we have one here, which is a little multiple choice one. Although the mating season for roe deer is in mid-July to mid-August, the fertilized egg does not implant and begin growing until what month? Is it A, November, B, December, C, January, or D, February? So again, the question is, although the mating season for roe deer is in mid-July to mid-August, the fertilized egg does not implant and begin growing until what month? Is it A, November, B, December, C, January, or D, February? And that's for roe deer. Quite small species of deer over here in the UK. They're probably our mid-sized breed, to be honest. Lovely antlers on them as well, and just a lovely species of deer. Mainly scattered throughout the kind of southeast as well of England. They haven't, and the north of Scotland, the outer edges of Scotland.
It's
There's
the
lots of
only
good
deer that
roe.
we have here at the moment.
Is it?
Yeah, we don't have any We've got a couple of monkeys coming in, but not many.
10,
Yeah, lots of muntjac.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Hey, let's hold it up.
2,
So we have November, Joe Price, David Fryers with November. We have Josh Feardwoods with January. We have Tim with December. And we have Steve, State Detective, with November. And we have January for Steve, Field and Steel. And it is, in fact, January. So unlike most deer, the gestation period for roe is 9 months. 4 months of no embryonic growth, followed by 5 months of fetal growth, which starts in January. Kids, usually 2 or 3, being born in May to June, and this is thought to be an adaptation to avoid giving birth during the harsh northern winters, because if not, they would have had their fetal development from August or July all the way. It would have brought them up to December, and they'd be popping offspring out in the middle of December during winter. So they actually delay that process, hold on to the egg, and then move it to the fertilizing station, which is quite funny to me.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing.
Fertilizing station.
Station.
The light club to us.
So we
chaps.
got so we got Steve and Josh got that right.
Yep.
Field and Steel. Well done, boys. The knife
That was
makers.
a hard
The knife
question.
makers showing us the deer stalking.
What is the alloy mesh metal used in fire steels? So what is the pyrophoric alloy mish metal which is used in fire steels?
Just the name of it.
Just
it doesn't
the name.
have to be the alloy composition.
It doesn't have to be the composition because I don't know that. It's often a word.
Aha!
Yeah, it's just the word used to describe what those
Yeah, Joe will know.
are.
Sadly.
I don't think anyone really knows the composition exactly.
The name of it.
The name of the material.
Maybe.
The name of the material. It is often referred to using that.
I often call
Like the
it
material
a something
or the
rod
name of it?
rather than a fire steel. A magic rod. You've got a magic rod, Josh.
Always
Magic
keep-
rod.
I would.
You should, absolutely.
Magic rod.
Have you seen
I've
the
got
one that
white
was released by
trousers.
Forest
I'd
Fundamentals?
say Mrs. State
the new
Detective, you
Fire
know.
Rod, the Beast.
Magic rod.
It's like this tall. It's savage.
Size does
Killing
matter
foul.
in that case, doesn't it?
No.
It's not polite to compare the size of rod, really.
Well, I'm overcompensating for a small one.
What's
I
it
had
for?
a small one for a long
For
time.
hitting.
10, 9,
Yeah.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Couldn't say it. Spell it ferricium.
Yeah, that's right.
We've got a full
A
house.
full house. Can we just have a round of applause?
Come on, everyone give each other a round of applause.
That's the first one. Well done, everybody.
That's brilliant.
We're listening to Paul Kirtley's podcast then.
Way.
Where's that bit?
We'll do this.
Yeah.
So, with slingshots, what does OTT and TTF stand for? With slingshots, or in the subject of slingshots, what does OTT and TTF stand for?
TJ into the wild. You're an absolute gentleman, mate.
This isn't one of mine.
No. Though you told me the answer. You taught me the answer.
Ah, right, okay.
I hope.
So again, with slingshots, what does OTT and TTF stand for?
Any catapult knowledge I have
For 20
comes from this
seconds.
gracious man, Tim.
Haven't been shooting in a while, actually.
No, we need to get back on it. Tim was very kind
Yeah.
to send me and
Liam,
Liam.
since you beat me at the community camp, I've been trying it a bit more. It's
Oh,
been
good man. Yes.
Yeah, getting back on it, mate.
5, 4,
So,
3,
let's see your answers, guys.
1.
So we have Joe with over the top and through the frame, or through the fork. We have David Fries with over the top. We have Field and
Didn't know what the second one was.
with band strength. We have Feared Woods with over the top and through the forks. Tim, over the top, through the forks. Steve, over the top and through the forks. So it was David with a half point and Steve, Field and Steel with no points.
Nah.
So everyone else got a point.
I had no idea on that one. I just guessed it.
No, you did well. You got a half point on that, Dave. And that brings us on to our next question, doesn't it? Yeah. That one.
What is the medical condition when your body's core temperature drops dangerously below normal? What is the medical condition when your body's core temperature drops dangerously below normal? That's typically at around 35 degrees. You would start to get concerned.
And if you need to read out your answer or speak it, more than fine. If you need to write down a jumble jamble of words that kind of makes sense, that's also fine. So below 35 usually.
Tends to be the area where you're going to start getting into some difficulty and
Yes.
danger.
And that's for your body core temperature, isn't it?
Yeah. When you get too cold, you almost stop shivering. You stop being with it. You might start lagging behind the group. Maybe you might be acting differently. It might start affecting your personality and things like that.
Important to watch out,
Definitely.
especially this time of year.
10 seconds left.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Let's see your answers. I think I'm good at this. We've got Joe with hypothermia, David with hypothermia, Steve hypothermia, Josh with hyper-whoopsie-thermia divorce. We've got Tim with hypothermia and Steve with hypothermia.
Full house.
Full house again. Well done,
Full
guys.
house.
Brilliant.
I like it when we get full houses.
Well, we should have made the questions easier.
We should have made the questions easier.
So, here's one for you guys. What do you call a wood that's saturated with resin? What would you call a wood that's absolutely saturated with resin? It's often referred to as it has its own name. And we're talking about, pine woods, especially, in resin holders.
It's a very, very popular firelighting aid.
Especially in damper weather conditions.
Absolutely.
And that's why feathers, in fact, work so well with it.
I have to come up with a different name so I
what
don't
do you
get
call
cancelled.
wood saturated with resin? I almost said it.
You did.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Hey,
2,
we don't even have to ask now. They just hold this. We have
wood.
Fatwood for Brainford. We had David Fryers with Fatwood. We got Steve.
Oh no!
Field and
I
Steel
knew that.
Fatwood. We have Josh Feardwood. Awesome Fatwood. Tim Fatwood. And we have State Detective with Sapwood. Very close there with Sapwood, but no, it is indeed Fatwood. That was everyone apart from Steve, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus
So the
sized
sap
wood.
tends to be the living part of the tree, doesn't it? Where it's bringing up water.
I knew that.
Don't catch me on that one, guys. No cancelling today.
What size wood?
So a little bit of a more relaxed one. You can all breathe. This is, which of State Detective sauces is Tom's favourite to put on a bacon sandwich? It is also one of the tobaccos that I like to smoke in my pipe, and we have talked about it on the podcast in a number of episodes.
It is indeed.
I know what this is, Tom, because we've shared it before.
We have.
Yeah,
Many things you've shared.
We have shared many things.
it was pretty
Totally
good.
lost, but I'm trying to find out.
Careful, boys. It's a family show.
You know it, Josh.
I won't. I'll be polite and I won't read out what Josh.
No.
To the rest of the crew. If you did share it, was it good?
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Special moment.
So again, Tom's favourite State Detective sauce to put in his bacon sarnie and one of his favourite tobaccos is called.
This won't be a full house. I'm judging by the blank expressions that are coming back at us.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
And that is.
So the answer is Squadron Leader, because it's lush.
So we have Josh, Tim, TJ, Into the Wild, and of course the State Detective himself with Squadron Leader, the correct answer, and Steve from Field
It's
Steel,
my
the
favourite
brown
as well,
one,
mate.
which that is.
Doesn't narrow it down enough,
It's
I
a
don't
brown
think.
sauce.
It is a brown sauce.
That's so cool. Is there a place you can pick these sauces up? Are they available online? Like, I'd love to try them.
Is the Wodesman 10 at checkout? Or is
Yep.
it the Wodesman 20?
Wodesman 20,
Wodesman 20.
and that will
And
award 10%
there's a charity
to the
code, isn't there, old
fisherman
chaps, as
and
well?
10% to your order, so you'll be able to knock off a little bit and also help a little charity over here in the UK, helping our
Wodesman
lads
20.
stay safe in their head,
Definitely use that.
which is important, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So Another question here, and we are coming near the end, guys. We've only got a few more left. They're a bit spread out, so we'll go with a big one here, and we can get the list down for you guys with multiple choice. What percentage of blood loss will likely cause death? Is it A, 10%, B, 40%, C, 25%, or D, 50%? What percentage of blood loss is most likely to cause death? 10%, 40%, 25%, or 50%? And I mean, when I mean will cause death, obviously, if you kept bleeding, you're always going to die. But I mean, which one's going to be the nearest to when you're in serious trouble? So is it A, 10%, B, 40%, C, 25%, or D, 50%?
Cool, you know how to cheer us all up with that question, don't you, Liam?
Bleeding your...
Merry Christmas. Let's talk about death and blood.
No, but it does.
hopefully no one
I like
has...
to talk about bleeding when you're a knife maker. It's not an happy experience.
It all stops eventually, Steve, doesn't it?
10, 9, 8,
Yeah, you knife makers are plenty of bleeding, I'm sure.
5, 4,
Both come
3,
close.
2, 1.
C, 25%. So we've got Joe with C, 25%, Steve with D, 50%, Josh with B, 40%, Tim with B, 40%. We have State Detective with D, 50%, and Dave Fryer with B, 40%. The correct answer is B, 40%. You reach exsanguination, severe loss of blood, when you lose 40% of your body's fluid or blood supply. This condition can and will be fatal if bleeding isn't stopped and treated quickly. So it is B, 40%. But obviously, like we said, any amount of bleeding is not good. And if you've lost 10, 20%, 30%, 50%, definitely get yourself seen.
Me, 0.5%. Ah!
So well done, guys, who got that one correct. There was 3. So there was Tim, there was... I can't remember who got 40% there. So it was B or 40%. Tim,
Dave,
Dave, and Josh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Me.
Have a little look.
Well done, guys. Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, are we ready? Suitably comfortable and ready for the next question. Which Swedish axe brand makes the small forest axe?
It's another court order for me, but I will have to write it.
Yeah, you don't have to say it. We'll say it.
Oh, come on.
So which Swedish axe manufacturer makes the small forest axe?
And possibly one of the best quotes ever about axes. The owner, Gabriel, said that they don't let amateurs dictate the professional market. I thought that was pretty brassy, that one was.
Go on, Joe.
They just let them run their Instagram.
10, 9, 8,
Shots fired.
I
Your answers, guys.
4,
I
2.
So we got Gransfors Brook with Joe Price. We got Steve Gransfors. We got Josh Gransfors. We have Tim with Gransfors. And Steve, I'm sorry, old chap. Dave, did you miss out the question on that one?
Yeah, I'm back.
There's
Yeah,
gone.
no, the sound just disappeared. I
I
couldn't hear
didn't
no
have the
one.
foggiest
So.
old voice.
I have to give Dave
Dave's frozen.
a point out of honour for that one.
They are going to be known as Granddad's books in my eyes from now on, Josh. That is legit their name. It's a thing now. We're starting a hashtag.
So, this next question, a little bit of a media trivia. What was Ray Mears' debut TV series called? What was Raymir's debut TV series called? So the first series that aired on TV featuring a Mr. Raymir's, the one and only. He's one of my bushcraft kind of heroes. Got me really into the craft. When I saw this show, in fact, it was this very show that I saw, or one of the episodes on this show, that just encaptured me, and I thought, I need to rub sticks together and make smoke and fire.
Yeah, this is a special question to your heart, isn't it? Because it was part of the foundation of what got you into it.
Mm-hmm. So what was Raymir's debut TV series called?
I think that came later.
The Ray Factor.
10, 9,
They both feature short.
7,
It's not X Factor, is it?
Let's see your answers.
4, 3, 2, 1.
In your
checking.
grave from Joe.
I legit don't know.
Oh, Joe.
Country Track, Raymir's Survival, Bushman, and Tracks from David Fryers. So the correct answer is actually Tracks or Country Tracks. Dave Fryers and Josh Beardwoods there. Tim, Survival, the Survivor actually was his first big series, production series, but he did have Tracks or Country Tracks was his short little 15-minute series that he had on in between shows on ITV. So when they had the gap to fill when a show was only 45 minutes, they'd throw you 15 minutes of Ray, and that's where I found him. And I was like, why are these things so short? Always, yeah. And a really, really good series. So I do.
Do you ever see the episode where he fought that Mongolian wrestler?
No.
You remember how agile he was, and he'd always be climbing trees and
finished
running
his
into
rest of the series with a broken rib.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Jesus, what happened to that, Ray?
Yeah. Beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, black belt judo, yeah.
Wouldn't mess with him.
Yeah. He's a judo man, isn't he, Ray?
So we're coming to the last few questions now. So these are going to be the kind of the tiebreakers, the deal breakers. Did we want to have a little tally up?
Bear with me.
I'll just pick the next questions out for you guys. I'm going to try and be nice and kind to you guys. Get some fairly easy ones, but not too easy. We don't want to be too kind to you all. It is the Wodesman after all. Just getting close.
Deadly afraid after drinking all this country moonshine that I'll stand up and hit the deck.
Okay, right. The scores are in after a little bit of doodling by me.
They are close.
We have 3 people who are now tied in first position. So, in first place, tied, we have Josh Fired Woods, Joe Price, and Steve from
Field and Steel.
And the others...
Closely, though. Very closely.
Tim, you are currently 1.5 points behind. So you are incredibly close.
And Dave's doing well.
Everyone's doing really well.
Dave's got only 2 or 3 points behind.
Mhm.
And Steve, you're about 5 or 6 behind. So behind enemy lines, all chap.
I think we can do...
You're comfortable, isn't it?
We can do a World War II question as our next question. This is very tenuous, the link with bushcraft. Literally, the only link with bushcraft is that we as bushcrafters use torches. So during the Second World War, what was Operation Torch? I will give bonus points for the year and the name of the opposition general. So what was Operation Torch during the Second World War? And bonus points if you can get the year and the enemy general.
Josh has gone pure stealth as well. You may have to give that to him.
This is a very obscure one. Oh no!
This is...
It's all right. We're all learning.
Yeah, this was meant to be one for Steve.
This is where Steve's big brain of knowledge comes out. Randomised knowledge. Josh is uncloaked.
You might be
He's
able
back in the
to pick
game.
up bonus points.
So, Josh, the question was, during the Second World War, what was Operation Torch?
Operation.
You might be able to get the opposition general's bonus points by thinking about the things that State Detective sells.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
So,
5, 4,
Captain America.
So we've got Joe Price with a question mark and Rommel.
Yep, that's a
We
point.
have Steve Field and Steel, North Africa, and Rommel. We have Captain America from Josh Fieldwoods. We've got Tim, TJ into the World, North African Desert, Rommel, 1942. We've got Steve, State Detective, with 1940, Rommel, SAS. And we have Dave Fryers with 1943.
So, the answer, Tim, TJ, you actually got all of it right. It is the 1942 Allied invasion of North Africa to fight Rommel.
Hey!
So, smash that. Well done.
And it was...
Thanks for
And
the
it
God
was
for
Rommel,
steak
so-
sauces.
So we've got a half point for State Detective.
Yay! Jolly good old
half point
bean.
for Steve, and a full point. And
I
a half.
say,
The fact that I'm learning,
almost like I was there.
learning history through steak sauces.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
That should be a new program on the curriculum, shouldn't it?
I'm so surprised I lost on
This
that.
could be a hoodie as well.
Sauces through time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Savage.
so we're looking for
Hams and syphilis.
Got one coming up, but Henry VIII, old boy.
so on the Morse scale. On the Morse scale, where would you place Flint out of a hardness out of 10? 0 being the softest, 10 being the strongest.
that old
So
chap.
on the Morse scale, where would you find Flint on the scale, with 0 being
Nothing.
soft and 10 being extremely hard?
10 being a diamond.
Wait. So Liam, what are we comparing this to?
Just Flint, where is it on the Morse scale if 0 is the softest and 10 is the hardest? For natural materials, with diamond being
10.
the hardest.
Oh,
Where
right,
would-
so diamond being the hardest.
Yeah, so diamond is 10 out of 10 on
On the
the
Morse
MOH scale.
It's going to wreck my head because I know pyrite is the same. And goddamn.
Time to crack a beer while they're thinking.
I think so.
Cool.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
As a Flint napper, I've just got to think about what else I've worked with.
10,
I just need one number.
8,
You got a 10, 1 in 10 chance.
5, 4, 3,
So we have Joe Price with 7, Field and Steel with 8, Josh from Fieldwoods with 5, Tim from TJ Into the Wild with 7, David Price and Steve from State Detective with 8. The correct answer is 7 out of 10.
It is. Yeah.
So well done.
I would
Joe
never
Price
have been forgiven if I
and-
forgot that.
Steve, have you heard of the Morse scale?
Me? No.
Yeah. Steve, the Morse scale. Have you heard?
Yeah, I don't.
I just hear the Rockwell scale.
Yeah, no, the Moore scale is for geology.
It's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
What was it?
Yeah.
Is it rock specific?
Yeah, it's rock specific.
Yeah, 7.
I think it just compares everything to diamond.
Yeah, and we would have
I ain't got the
accepted 6
patience
points.
for Flint.
No, but I only know
I'm
it
terrible
because
with Flint. I've
was the
told the
answer again,
story on
guys?
the podcast before, but I was doing an hour session with Will Lord, and the first bit of rock that I hit together slit my hand open. I bled all over Will Lord's hides, but I didn't want to disappoint my instructor, so I pretended that I wasn't injured.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm only student that Will's tried about 4 times to teach, and then eventually just gave up with me because I just can't get my head around it.
That's part of the fun of it, Tom, is cutting yourself in.
Hey, Tom, at
That's
least
true.
you can bleed out more than 40%,
Ooh.
old chap.
What was the
Okay.
answer, guys?
The answer was 7 out of 10.
Which you
Was
got
it? Oh,
right.
got it right. Crikey.
Nice, well done.
Lucky guess.
So the next question, there are at least 2 correct answers. If we haven't thought about all of the answers and just correct us, but there are definitely 2 that we could think of. Name a deciduous conifer.
Oh, cheeky. Yeah.
Sure, you can
Half
look up
point.
the Latin.
I can look up the Latin.
Do we get bonus for Latin?
So, name us a deciduous conifer. So, a conifer that loses its leaves.
Yep. Has cones, drops its leaves in winter. Or needles.
And you and me both had the opposite
Different
one,
answers, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nice, and that's what this is all about, kind of reminding each other of these different things as well, and hopefully learning some stuff, because there's been a hell of a lot of stuff in here that I wouldn't have known.
And like, you gave me a load of questions, I got most of them wrong and I learnt from you.
Yep.
I gave you a load of questions, you got some of them wrong, you learnt from me. None of us got the listeners' questions right.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
That's the one. Lumpy larch. Yeah, good man.
Larch, Leylandi, Scots pine.
So, who got larch?
Josh, Steve, Tim. Steak Detective, what did you get, Old Bean?
Oh, Bean.
Is
that one? I'm not sure.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so...
I was Leyland.
Leylandii is an evergreen, but it's
not deciduous,
not a...
is it?
Not deciduous.
Maybe not. No.
Okay, so the correct answer was larch or alder, because it has both cones and is deciduous.
It is.
And I always get complacent with alder, because I just always forget about it. I just think of larch, and I don't ever think of alder.
The only reason I think of alder is because I remember I went to Austria and I'd never seen an alder tree before.
Right.
And I found this tree that I thought looked like it was in a similar family to birch or hazel.
Yeah.
But then it had these little cones, and I was just getting so confused because I was
And
like, what is this?
What's the little glade of alders called?
They're called an alder car if there's a group of alders together.
A car. There we are.
A car of alders. Alder car.
So that was a really good one, actually. I like that because it reminds me of alder, which I'm, like I said, useless at remembering. So we have a little another one here. I'll let you do that one. What is the chemical or oil that burns in birch bark? What is the chemical or oil that burns in birch bark?
It also gives the birch bark its sort of famous white colour.
Yeah, good point. So again, what is the chemical or oil that burns in birch bark?
Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's where the family name for the tree has come from too, is it?
It begins with a B. I'm not sure. I read something else.
Yeah. I think I'm in the right ballpark.
You might be right. I had a bit of a stab in the dark on this one.
I think, Joe, you're on the right lines there. I think you're right.
Yeah, if I was doing this, it would be stab in the dark as well.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, that sounds right, Joe.
1.
Yeah.
Joe, could you move it along a bit so I can see the second half of your answer?
Yeah, Betulin or Bitumen.
Yeah.
Nah, we're going to write that as well.
Perfect time, birch sap.
Because I think birch are Betulia or Betulia.
Betulia pendula.
There you go.
So it is, in fact, betulin. Betulin gives...
You see I'm getting a bit tipsy with the
Joe
writing.
got that.
It's kind of
Joe
just...
got that.
Joe.
Yes. Steve got that as well.
Bitumen, that's close. Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay, I think that was a really interesting question. That's something that I always need reminding
Bitumen,
of.
I put bitumen.
A little bit of a firearms question. We obviously use firearms. Well, Liam uses firearms for hunting. He's got an array of spent cartridges behind me.
You love your firearms, don't you?
I love my firearms from a shooting, sort of target shooting perspective. I used to do a lot of that when I was younger, and I'd like to get back into it. Correctly match the following rifle with the correct caliber. So a Lee Enfield rifle would shoot either 303, 308, 243, 6.5 Creedmoor. Which is the correct caliber for a Lee Enfield rifle? 303, 308, 243, 6.5 Creedmoor.
Steve, I knew you knew this one, mate.
They get me every time.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Well, I might not yet, old boy. I might have a face like a smack bum in a minute.
Was Creedmoor around during the Enfield thing? Just out of curiosity.
Creedmoor's
So again, we've got correctly matched the following rifle with the caliber. The Lee Enfield. And it's either 303, 308, 243, or 6.5 Creedmoor.
10, 9,
I'll say in a minute.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
And
2,
we have 303,
303, 303.
303. And Dave.
Oh, no, I've got 308.
That's all right.
I
Dave's
know.
the only one of us not
I have
going to
no
be put on
idea.
the watch list.
I was going to go with Creedmoor,
Dave,
but it
either
was
or
close. It was close.
So, Joe, you were saying the Creedmoor.
Looks like
Creedmoor's
a three to me.
it's quite a modern cartridge.
It is the NATO
Yeah, I
round
thought so.
6.5, yeah.
Yeah. Big case, small projectile, high velocity.
Yeah, it's the Creedmoor chose
Really
me
nice
off. It
and
just
flat.
sounds antiquated and British. You know what I mean?
It sounds cool, doesn't it?
Sounds colonial.
It does
Yeah.
shoot really flat. I mean, it's so quick that it's almost sometimes it's too quick. It doesn't have that devastation. You know, like
Sounds
if
like
you're
a cartridge you used to quell an uprising.
And you're on another watch list now.
He's got the devil's
This young
breath.
man makes knives and knows about 6.5 Creedmoor.
So we've got
I've been known to pull a
literally-
trigger.
we've got the final. One's a funny question. One is a factual one. So we'll start off with the factual one. How many times faster does the body's temperature drop in water compared to air? Is it A, almost 10 times, B, almost 20 times, C, almost 30 times, or D, almost 5 times? So, how many times faster does the body lose its temperature in water compared to air? Is it A, almost 10 times, B, almost 20 times, C, almost 30 times,
I
and
should
D,
know this, but I
almost
don't.
5 times?
It's one of those ones when you do your test, it's like water's cold.
Wait, has anyone else got this? There's going to be a photograph taken.
We're on the watch list.
Anyone else see that?
That's where the thumbnail comes from, people.
Yeah.
Everyone working hard at their answers.
Well, it's been a good fun. Bye. If you see snipers coming through here, we've had a good run, Steve. We had a good run.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
So we have
2,
Joe with 5. We have Steve with 5. Josh with 10. Yours with D 5 times. Steve, State Detective, what's yours, buddy?
That's number 5 as well.
Number 5. 5.
5 times, yeah.
And Dave with 20 times. It is. We're going to have to give that to Dave because he's the
Dave, yeah.
closest. Because the body actually loses heat almost 30 times faster in water than it does in air.
Fucking hell.
Which is. I didn't know that.
I
was shocked by that.
I thought it was 10 times.
Yeah.
So
I thought, maybe 5, 10 times at the most, but
30 times.
Insane.
Well, that
Wow.
goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the losing core temperature, and someone wrote down water immersion. So that's why.
Absolutely. And then, Tom, I think you're finishing off. So this is your final question for the Wodesman trivia.
Okay, final question of this Christmas episode of the Wodesman trivia. How many flat caps does Liam own? Is it A, 7, B, 4, C, 18, or D, 11?
I just thought it was
So
a
how
lot of
many
the same
flat
one.
caps?
He was like Einstein, just had
All the same colour.
They are pretty much the same colour.
Just so I can keep them clean.
Is it 7, one for every day of the week? Is it 4? Is it C, 18? Or is it D, 11? Final question. I'd love to get a full house.
Oh, imagine.
I'd love it.
I'll have to buy another hat.
Does that include the one that you gave him for?
Does include that one, yeah.
Okay.
One of my favourites.
You can see everyone zooming in behind, trying to see in the background.
My hat rack. Oh, next to it. Right next to the door. Different place.
8, 7,
Well,
6, 5, 4,
the answer
your bed,
is...
Liam.
2, 1.
Ooh. I am sad to report that on our final question of this episode, not a single person got the right answer.
Was it Einstein? Was it
No,
one?
the closest, so get to the point, as we have done the whole
What is it,
thing.
It is actually 11 hats, so
Wow.
I apologise.
You've got a
I
problem, mate.
apologise for
You've
not
got a problem.
having too many hats, Joe, and I'm sorry for all of you guys for wearing all of the hats.
Well, Liam,
You've got a problem, mate.
Liam and Tom, we have to say, due to your axe problem and your hat problem, this is actually an intervention. It's not a podcast. That's why the friends are here. We just want to have a talk.
How many knives you got, Joe?
Don't ask that question.
So, if you lads want to have a little bit of a murmur, a little few-minute break while Tom starts working out this results. It went so well. Thank you to every single one of you guys. I think we just lost Tim there.
He'll be back.
Yeah, he's
Tim
trying to
will be
reset
There he is.
his...
Go back, there he is.
There he's back. He's back.
That's been fantastic, guys. Thanks for inviting us.
No, it was
No
Really
worries.
good to meet.
it was cool. High fives all around.
Yeah, it's been a lot of you guys' first times kind of meeting up with each other or talking to each other
Yeah.
for a lot of you. So thank you for being guests on the Wodesman this year. You've all been like honestly really, really special guests, and it means the most to me and Tom to have you guys on this little trivia. You know, we've been going for a fair amount of times.
It only went uphill from me, didn't it, Liam? To be honest, so there we go.
That's it. I'm just glad I didn't have to participate because I'd be the one with no score.
No, it's been great to put faces to names and find out new people. I'm going to check out that site, Steak Detective. Those also sound badass.
Thanks,
They
so
really do.
chap. Remember the old
I
discount
think,
code?
Joe,
Yes,
we ought to see if he'd like to come and bring his wares to Retro next year.
there's a shout. That'd fit
Yeah.
right in.
Thank you. Yeah.
When is that, Steve? When's
Do it.
retro?
End of April. Last weekend in April. It's bank holiday
it?
weekend.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. And actually, you just reminded me, talking of events, one of our questions from our listeners over in America, Arizona, that was Ty S. So again, thanks for that question, Ty. And this one goes to Joe, because I know you've been over that neck of the woods or may have some connections over there. And he actually asked us, are you aware or are we aware of any bushcraft similar shows to the bushcraft show over in America? Because it's such a big place. And although in the UK here we've got the bushcraft show, we've got the wilderness gathering, they're all within a fairly close drive to each other. Obviously in America you can be 10 times the size of England and you're still in one state.
Yeah, no, I know that. No, there'd be Rabbit Stick, which Josh has said in the corner, which is kind of a primitive skills one. So rabbit stick it'd be on comparison to the wilderness gathering, but massive. Yeah. And then if you wanted something akin to the bushcraft show, where you get to meet like makers, like the Hidden Woodsman and all that, the Georgia Bushcraft event would be definitely.
Yeah, Georgia Bushcraft's one of the bigger ones, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a massive one.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for that. And yeah, Ty, I hope that one helps you out. Yeah, I would love to get over to America to a show, hopefully sometime in the future. But I think we're about getting there. So if you just hold off 1 second.
It's an abacus.
Yeah. He's took his shoes and socks off.
Now, while the judges tally up votes, please be patient and wait to see who gets crowned the Wodesman Trivia Champion.
Oh, Josh has gone cloaked again.
And we have news just in. Breaking news. The winner of the Wodesmas 2022 trivia is
Joe Price.
Nice one, Joe.
Cheers,
Now
guys.
that
It was
was-
a blast. It was a blast. I mean, any chance to get drunk on a Monday is good by me.
Yeah, it is a month, isn't it?
really well done, guys. Do you want to go through the scores?
So I had a few half points and bonus points that I'd not added on when I'd done the middle points. So that changed the final positions a little bit. So in fifth place, State Detective. But can I just say, you kept up with all of the other bushcrafting big guns. And like you're fairly new to the bushcraft scene, and yet
only a few points
you were
away.
only a few points away from being competitive. So I hope to see you again on our Christmas quiz next year, and making some people sweat. So well
Thank
done.
you very much,
really
old chaps, and I've learnt a lot of things from you guys. So yeah, thanks awfully, and really enjoyable.
No, thanks for supplying us, always with your quality stuff as well. So definitely go check out the State Detective, guys.
Yeah.
He's not a sore loser, and he definitely held his own fighting for the troops.
Thanks, guys.
If you want me back as a taste tester, Steve, as well,
Yeah,
get out me.
taste testers.
I'm your
please.
man.
So next
count.
two positions
Thanks, old
were Dave Friars and Tim TJ. Both indistinguishable from each other. A fantastic effort. Well done, lads. And that leaves us with the top three, who were Steve, Josh, and Joe.
Very tight as well.
With only 2 points between each of them. So
Scraped
well done.
the lead. Yeah, well done, guys. And Joe, is there any? Let's give a round of applause.
At the end of the day, the points and scoring isn't that important, really, because the important thing is we got a load of us friends together. We met, introduced a few of our friends to each other. We celebrated a year on air, and more importantly than that is we got to do a good thing for charity.
It's a good bit of fun, wasn't it?
It was a good bit of fun, and it was for charity as well. So that leaves us to ask Joe.
It does. What charity, Joe, would you like? Would you like to? And there's no pressure if you want to have a little think on it. But is there a charity that you'd like the winnings of this to go to? So we've all made a little donation to a little pot, and we're going to put a Just Giving link for you guys, the listeners, to donate to and top up that pot. And we'll leave that Just Giving run until the end of January. And when January is up, we'll then donate those winnings to the charity of choice. So it can either be one of your choice, or it can be the Wodesman kind of charity that we've chosen,
sponsored, which is the Bearded Fisherman. So it's totally up to you, Joe.
Cool. Well, if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to split it in half because I heard mention of a very good charity on the show that the State Detective and that's involved in. And I'm involved in kind of the same one doing here. So there's one which is the Veterans Charity here in Ireland to make sure homeless veterans have a place to go and stuff like that. And I'd like to donate the other half to the other charity for soldiers mentioned on the show too.
Thank you so much, Joe. That's really special.
So that's really special. So we'll have half going to the Bearded Fisherman, which I know, Tim, you'll be very sort of pleased to hear
you
that.
You do a bit of work for them, don't you, Tim?
Can I just, I haven't really had the opportunity to do this yet, but can I just give a heartfelt thank you equally to you, Tom and Liam, but also to Steve as well for your massive support for the Bearded Fisherman. But I've been a little bit disorganised at my end, just getting a proper thank you from myself. I mean, I volunteer for them, but also my boss is there as well. We will sort something out, but in the meantime, just it means a great deal to us, and every penny goes straight where it's needed, and it helps us enormously. So, big thank you, a huge gesture.
No, I mean, mental health is something both very close to me and Liam's heart. So if our podcast can do something positive, then that's fantastic. And Joe, I think your choice of the Veterans Charity in Ireland is such an amazing cause. And if this even helps one person, then it'll be worthwhile. So, that just leaves us to wrap up this very special episode. Thank you for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. We are both going to sleep and have headache tablets now.
We are. And quickly before we leave, can we get from each and every one of you? So I'm going to go round and ask you just to say where people can find you online. And again, just to say a heartfelt thank you from me and Tom. So Joe, let us know where people can find you. And again, thank you, mate.
No problem. I'm all over social media, scattered about the place. But if you want to see all my social media condensed into one place, you can find it on eskogockmark.com. It's just Swedish. But
and we'll put a link in the description.
I appreciate that, guys.
And people should check out the Living to Learn page on Facebook as well.
Definitely.
It's a very amazing source of information. Yeah, Steve, thank you very much, mate, for coming on. Me and Liam are heading to the woods tomorrow, where I have your Nesmuk and Splinter, which will be with me for the woods. So thank you very much for giving up your time and coming on. Where can people find and follow you?
Mostly on Instagram at Field and Steel, or if they want to message me, they can message me through the website, which is www.fieldandsteel.co.uk.
Brilliant.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
I'll put that in the description as well. Josh, Feared Woods.
Hello, mate.
Thank you so much, buddy. Honestly, always a pleasure to have you. It's great to have your little in there as well, and you're always a good laugh. So where can people find you? Because you also are on social media, aren't you? You've got Instagram and bits.
It was really nice to see everyone this evening. And if you want to find me on social media, it's Fired Woods, Instagram.
And that's FYRD.
Yeah, FYRD.
We'll pop the link in the description.
The Anglo-Saxon word for militia.
Brilliant.
I like it.
I see as he's attaching an arrowhead to a
Back
shaft.
on the watch list we go. We were doing so well with the charities.
And Mr. Steak Detective, it is always a pleasure to spend any amount of time in your company. It's like your support of our show has meant an awful lot this year, and your humour and mirth always goes a long way. I know when I was on holiday, I was sending you silly little voice notes all the time. So thank you so much for coming on. Where can people find you and buy your sauces? I know Mr. Joe Price will be cracking on with some of the
international orders.
Well, you can normally find me in 1940, but currently I'm in 2022. But thestakedetective.com, at the State Detective on Instagram, and that is where you'll tap into the wireless, old chap.
YouTube. Don't forget the YouTube.
YouTube, yeah, for shenanigans and all that chap is at the State Detective on YouTube.
I'll check that out. That's slick.
Tomfoolery and all that jazz, a little bit of cooking,
Thank you, Steve.
A little bit of wild camping, and thanks, guys.
It's brilliant. Honestly, so good to have you, mate. And Dave as well. Thank you so much for making the effort to come up. I know it's been such a busy period for you coming up to Christmas, making away.
Yeah.
That sewing machine's been going at the rate of clappers, hasn't it? So,
Oh, yeah, definitely. Nice. Cheers, guys. It's been great. Even the podcasts are great. I really enjoy them. But yeah, if you want to contact me, anyone, it's David Fries. Just Google David Fries or Instagram, and easy to get hold of.
Yeah. You got a store on Etsy, haven't you? So that's where people can find you.
Yeah. If you just Google David Fries, I'll come up. So it's all cool. But thanks.
Awesome.
Fantastic. And last, but certainly not least, TJ, thank you so much, mate, for coming on. And also a massive thank you from me for all your videos on slingshots that you sent me and Liam. You've taken me from a complete novice to just above a complete novice, and I'm now able to hit the broadside.
You'll soon be taking the nuggets off a housefly. Don't you worry. You'll be just keep practicing.
So where can people find you online?
I'm a very limited presence, if you like, but Instagram's probably your best bet. Just a collection of outdoor shenanigans, really. Nothing too serious.
No, good shenanigans they are, though, Tim.
Yeah, you undersell that.
I always enjoy seeing your content.
You legend, Tim.
But look, guys,
Tim's catapult skills are fantastic.
They are.
That brings us to an end of a special episode. Thank you for bearing with us and all of the mirth and good fun that you brought to this. And I hope you all have a fantastic Christmas.
It's been so special, honestly. Thank you, guys.
You too, guys.
You too, guys.
Really, a very merry Wodesmas. And get off to your respective partners, beds, drinks, more drinks, whatever you like.
And yeah, blame us for everything you need to blame us for. And
you got the evidence here.
We'll hopefully see you all in a future episode.
Definitely. And
Merry
congratulations.
Christmas.
Same to you guys.
And you.
Merry Christmas.
Take care.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Take care, guys.